Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Monday, June 13th, 2022, a little after 3 p.m. Eastern. We'll be having a Time for Change call this Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. Ecstasy is our very nature. Not to be ecstatic is simply unnecessary. To be ecstatic is natural, spontaneous. It needs no effort to be ecstatic. It needs great effort to be miserable. It needs no effort to be ecstatic. It needs great effort to be miserable. That's why you look so tired, because misery is really hard work. To maintain it is really difficult, because you are doing something against nature. That's why you look so tired, because misery is really hard work. To maintain it is really difficult, because you are doing something against nature. Osho. How often do we adventure out of our cozy nest of habitual life into that place where you don't know what could happen next? You may have noticed that your ego is a master at creating habits. It craves to create the perfect comfort zone so it can feel the security, sameness, and receive an impenetrable force field of safety. This comfort zone is different for everyone. For an adrenaline seeker, it may be the need to parachute out of a plane at 10,000 feet every weekend. While for the retired executive, it may be sitting by the pool in a paradise every day, sipping a cold pina colada. Whoever you are, you have some form of comfort zone established that is there for you to grow out of and expand through. The truth is that the ego has no real power of control and cannot create 100% safety in our lives. Life is inherently insecure. Only death is a sure thing. The mind can only fixate on the false notion of safety and hope that this will come true. True safety only comes from being in touch with your eternal self, that infinite part of you that will never cease, die. What could be safer than that? Everything in this world changes. The flux of matter is what makes life so exciting, spontaneous, and dynamic here. Our bodies are not the same bodies that we automatically had 1 year ago. And 10,000 years from now, we may not recognize or understand half of what we see. As long as the ego is in charge and thinks it's running the show, it will be holding you tightly to the lie of safety by sticking like super glue to its comfort zone. There's nothing wrong with being comfortable. In fact, it can become a precursor to a deep spiritual, mystical life experience. Yet, the ego will often coax us to stay in an old rut or pattern just to keep its distance from the fear of the unknown. It believes that it's better to stay with what it has known for years, even if it feels like you are shriveling up in some lukewarm bath where there is no heat, excitement, or pizzazz. This could be a relationship, jobs, salary, overweight body, lack of vacation, or just a convenient, repetitive daily routine. The ego would rather be comfortable in a velvet rut for 70 plus years than take a risk to step into the aliveness. One area where many of us may have a hideout in this velvet rut is in the arena of living abundantly. Due to past emotional programming, we may not be comfortable with actually experiencing what it is like to be fully abundant and financially free. You may unconsciously be choosing to propagate a scarcity mentality just because this is what feels the safest to your ego. It may be terrifying to accept massive abundance, since that would mean you would have to stop playing small. Just imagine what would happen if you decided to expand your financial frequency and stop playing it safe. To stretch out of your comfort money zone may seem undesirable, yet it is a powerful way of redefining who you are in the world, in this world you are living. When you continue to send out the same old vibration by remaining in the same old zone, you tend to reap the same old levels of success and abundance. When you venture out beyond your comfort zone, you discover that there are many exciting opportunities and experiences that you were previously unaware of. This is what the vast unknown that makes up the universe, this universe, truly contains. There is much more, much more of what we don't know in outer space and inner space than what we do know. Sure, the ego is terrified of these infinite probabilities, yet you can only access a truly alive and abundant life by doing the thing you are most scared to do. True growth only really happens when you consciously choose to take that big risk to move beyond your comfort zone. Just like in yoga, while the stretching may feel uncomfortable at first, there is a pleasure that comes from extending your limbs, breathing, and relaxing into a new position. This is the point where new consciousness can be found. The more often you do yoga, the more limber your whole being, mind and body becomes, and the easier it is for you to move into new realms of thinking. If you do the same thing with abundance in your life, you will naturally attract a greater level of abundance than you could have dreamed possible. You may discover more about your hidden abundance comfort zones by answering these following questions. How comfortable would you feel if someone gifted you a very large sum of money? How comfortable would you feel if someone gifted you a very large sum of money? How easy is it for you to ask someone to support you in creating abundance by using one of your business ideas? How easy is it for you to ask someone to support you in creating abundance by using one of your business ideas? How would you feel if you were to all of a sudden receive an abundance of attention, love, support, and admiration? How would you feel if you were to all of a sudden receive an abundance of attention, love, support, and admiration? How quickly do you embrace new opportunities that could lead to more abundance in your life? How quickly do you embrace new opportunities that could lead to more abundance in your life? Take time in this moment right now to examine where you feel trapped, stuck, and imprisoned in your life. What are those all too familiar, comfortable ways of being, doing, talking, thinking, and feeling that you tend to repeat every day? Where do you feel that you are most holding yourself back. Write down your top 3 situations where you feel the most trapped. This very well could be your lucky week to become outrageously courageous and step out of one or all of your inner prisons. It has been found that the easiest way of breaking out of your comfort zone is with baby steps. You don't have to move to the edge of a 1,000-meter cliff to step out of your comfort zone. You can slowly stretch out of any old habit, just like you were attempting a new yoga posture. Next to each of your top 3 situations, write down what your personal baby step would be to move out of that old pattern. Make the effort to take that baby step every day this week. Every day, you will be absolutely amazed at how much more of life you'll experience, manifest, and enjoy when you do whatever it takes to stretch into the beyond. Perhaps it is as simple as eating a salad for breakfast, going on a road trip across the country alone, couch surfing, asking someone you don't like for help, giving someone you just met a hug, going to a party alone where you may not know anyone, or saying yes to a huge new opportunity that comes your way. This universe contains infinite possibilities already. Believe it or not, whatever you can imagine happening to you is truly what life has in store for you. Whatever you do, have tons of fun and laughter this week, breaking out of your comfort zone and exploring the juicy world inside you and around you. This very well could be your week to be truly alive. And breaking out of the comfort zone for any of us it's difficult because you want to switch, you want to flap right back to it. Doing something out of the ordinary, and I'm sure we've all been, that's been presented to us at times. What do you do? Like, for instance, you go to dinner, right? And you're with some people, and some of the folks know you and say, "Hey, Jim, why don't you order something out of the ordinary?" And so Jim looks at the menu, and he looks at his regular that he orders, and then he looks at the menu, and he says, "No, I feel safe. I'm gonna order what I always order." Okay, just that little, how it's not comfortable to step out of that little comfort zone, right? But now Mary says to herself, "You know what? I'm going to order something different. I always order this. I'm not going to order that anymore. I'm going to order something different. I'm going to expand out." This is a little baby step. And so Mary orders something different. She says, "You know, this isn't that bad. It tastes pretty darn good." And that's how it begins. Okay? It's the ego mind is basically saying, stay here this way. Don't step outside of it. A lot of the times when you feel uncomfortable, right? Discomfort about doing something that takes you outside your comfort zone. It's uncomfortable, isn't it? You just don't feel right with it. And so you automatically gravitate back to the comfort zone. It's like, "Hey, Alan, let's do this. This is different." Alan says, "No, might get hurt. Something happens." This is what he's saying in his head. He said, "No, I'm going to stick with what I've got here." Okay, suit yourself. And it's like you get in this comfort zone, and out of the clear blue, someone calls you up and says, "Hey, you want to go fishing?" Now, you haven't fished in ages, right? and you don't have anything to fish with. These are all the excuses that will come up. And then the other person says, hey, I got you covered. I got the equipment and everything. Thought it'd be kind of a new direction for you, kind of get you out of your rut. And so you sit there and you go, oh, I got to do that. I got other things I want to do, and I'll pass on it. Say. But then some people say, you know what, that's a great idea. I haven't fished in years. That'd be great. And then you go out and do it. You feel great about it, something different. That's what this life's all about. But see, the majority of us get into the cycle, the rut, of the same. Doesn't end. And we stay there. And as the body ages, as we go through this life, we do more of that. We go more in to the comfort zone. Have you ever, a lot of people, instead of doing things that they would enjoy doing and exploring things, they kind of shrivel. And they get less and less and less and less and less. And the older we get, we take less we take less risk. We don't take risk. People say, well, they're too old for that. Well, then what do? You sit. That's it. You ever notice that? In the majority of when the body gets to a certain age, people sit. It's like, are you waiting for something? Just because you're this age, it doesn't mean life's over. Anybody, any one of us, none of us can guarantee for ourselves that we'll even wake up the next morning. So we look at life moment to moment, because that's all we really have, moment to moment. No matter what the ego mind continually tries to convey and convince you of. Now, other people have said, well, you take the same path to the store every day. Same path, right? Years going to that same store, same path. One day you say to yourself, you know what? I'm going to take this road. It's like, not a lot of traffic. I'm going to go a roundabout way. I'll go through the neighborhoods. Okay? And for some reason, it uplifts you. It feels exciting. Even that little thing right there. Or, you've been going to the same grocery store for years, and then you say, I'm going to go to a different grocery store. A little bit longer way, but I'm going to go there. Something new, something different. Always keeping us basically on our toes, but not in a stressful way. And we look at things and we say, I've been doing this for a long time. It's time I try something different. It's like when I was into job counseling, and I would say to people, you go into a position or a work environment. You go in there to master it, right? Well, most people don't realize they master it after about however many years they've been at it. But then you go to something else that you don't know anything about, and you master that. And so you just keep stepping into new territory where, you don't, as you say, I'd like to know how to do woodworking. And right now, in this moment, not with the new technologies, but right now, you would say, well, I'll get an apprenticeship. There's an opportunity. Somebody who knows somebody refers you, and then you get with a master carpenter, and you become an apprentice. You learn how to do carpentry work. It's the same with everything across the board. But most people, they're in their little rut. Probably take me too much time. Take me away from what I need to be focused on right now, which is the same thing you've been doing day in and day out, year after year. And a lot of us will continually do the same thing and repeat it every day. And then we go, why doesn't anything change? How come everything is the same? I keep doing the same thing every day, but the same results. That's where people say, I'm bored. They're bored with life. That's why. Because they've been doing the same thing day in and day out for years. They go home at a certain time. They eat at a certain time. They go to bed at a certain time. Okay? That's it. Monotonous. Instead of shifting it or changing it. Well, I'm not going to go to bed at this time. That's a twist. That's a difference. I'm going to go to bed at this time. I'm not going to eat at this time. I'm going to eat at this time. I'm not going to have the same food that I always have. I'm going to shake it up, change it. These are little things, but they do eventually pull you out of your comfort zone. And that's a toughie for many. Okay? So if you will, go to the place where you're not going to be interrupted. And I'm sure that we all are. And the first thing that we care to do is relax these bodies that we are in, because we are not the body. We are the God source, the kingdom of God, the heaven in this body. So when you look at the body, when you look at your body, you go, this body it's a super magnetically powerful sponge. It absorbs everything. Everything, all your stresses, all your anger, all your frustrations, all your worry, and all your fear, it absorbs it and it stores it in different parts of the body. Okay? It stores it in different parts of the body. Now, it doesn't mean that you know this, emphatically so. You don't know it. You don't know it. But, people have, for no reason, their neck hurts, or their lower spine, or their arm, or their knee, or their calf muscle, or their glutes. I mean, it hurts. It's that pain. What is that from? Now, we always think it's, I go to the doctor and find out what that is. Very rarely do we go, I must be storing some distress somewhere from something that I've got to stop doing. And see, year after year after year, as it accumulates, then, eventually there's a biological breakdown in the body. So we focus on our breath. Breath is absolutely magical. It is omnipotently powerful. And you listen to the breath. You're not in a hurry to breathe. It's not a contest. You just breathe slowly, steadily, easily in through the nose, slowly, steadily out through the mouth. You focus on the breath only. And you listen to your breathing. Now, what this does is it stills the ego mind and the subconscious mind. What does that mean? It means that you leave them alone. You don't interact with them. You don't entertain them. Any of the ego mind's constraints and control factors, you don't engage. This is the only way to master them, is to watch them from outside. When you leave the mind alone, right? When you still the mind, you're at peace. You're at peace. You're in the now. When you still the mind, the ego mind, as we all know, can conjure up some pretty crappy things, where we expound on things, build them up out of proportion, where we become frozen in our own tracks out of fear. Now, see, that's a comfort zone to withdraw instead of stepping outside that comfort zone and be courageous. So once you understand that the body is a sponge, you focus on your breath, you still the mind, the ego, and the subconscious mind. You don't interact with them. You watch them. You don't judge them, because you learn as you watch them. You learn how they operate. You have thoughts come in from the ego mind. You say, that's an ego thought. I don't care to entertain it. And you constantly are saying, ego mind, you're not in charge here. You have to constantly repeat that. Because after all, the ego mind has controlled all of us, most of us, for thousands and thousands of years, tens of thousands of years, hundreds of thousands of years. So it's not, it's not like, oh, it was just here yesterday, it's going to be gone tomorrow. Now, we put out, each of us, right, over 60,000 thoughts every 24 hours. That's a lot of thoughts. It doesn't mean that we know every single one that we're sending to the universe. That's why we have these little surprises that jump in during our lives, and we say, where the heck did that come from? Not only that, we've got tens of millions, even billions of thoughts, right, that fly by like clouds in the sky. Now, interesting thing, that about 99.999% of them aren't ours. So you just might as well just say programs. Now, when you're in the now, and you practice by being in the now, you're automatically in gentleness, kindness, generosity, and humbleness with yourself. You're in the highest of the highest high, the deepest of the deepest deepest, and the purest of the purest purest. Eternal gratitude at all times. So when you're in the now, moment to moment, and you find yourself floating off somewhere, you just float off, right? Doesn't have to be anything particular, but you find yourself off somewhere. You're not in the now. You're in somewhere in the yesterday or the tomorrow. But you're able to identify that and say, not a biggie. I'll focus on my breath and I'll be in the now. 3,000% of the time. Every time you do it, you'll be in the now. And for all of us, it takes practice. It's not like you can just do that once and stay in the now. You'll find yourself floating off again, and you'll just keep repeating it. But this is how we learn. This is how we learn about these bodies and what comes with these bodies when we enter them. So we just empower ourselves to navigate. And eventually we become master navigators. And then you can see the minefields, not guess them, say. You can see the minefields, and you know where to step and where not to step. Obviously, you're not going to step on a mine and be blown to smithereens, right? No, you'd like to navigate through the minefield. And see, the minefield is the ego mind. Well, you better not do this. If you do this, this will happen. Or don't jump out of that plane. Don't go parachuting. What happens if the parachute doesn't open? Then you'll just fall and die. What if something malfunctions? What if the plane crashes before you can dive out of the plane? These are all ego mind insecurities. Or bungee jumping off of a bridge, right? You go, that's not for me. What if something happens to the bungee cord and it snaps and I'm dead? You see, all these things keeps us in that little tiny bubble. And understand that subconscious mind, a lot of people don't pay much attention to it, but the subconscious mind, it is a master recorder. It records everything. As soon as you enter that baby body, it records everything. Everything around you, every person, every being, every occurrence, not only for you, but them. Everything. Takes it all in. Not only that, it stores it. And I'm talking not just life, but all lives that you've inhabited. And so, not only that, it plays it back. You say, it plays it back. So you can see where we stand with mastering the ego mind, the subconscious mind. See, because in the subconscious mind, you know what's there, what you want to put in there, what you want to take out and get rid of. It's kind of like you keep a tidy great hall. which is the subconscious mind. So you're always making room for more recordings, right? Now, if you're a hoarder and you just can't bring yourself to getting rid of some of the recordings, then you're stuck in the rut. Didn't we come here and enter these bodies to experience life, right? Didn't we do that? And not just sit and watch life, but participate in life. Now, we all find ourselves standing in front of three paths. We're standing in the center one, which is the now. Ego mind doesn't like that because it doesn't exist in the now. But you're in the center path. On the left is yesterday. On the right is tomorrow. And or past future. And you look at how these paths have been created, and you see that the trees have formed a golden canopy over each path. Golden leaves, and shimmering branches, and bark. And you see the paths themselves are a brilliant, vibrant emerald green, excuse me, flaming grass, looks like grass. But you notice one thing that stands out. The path on the left yesterday is really worn. It's been used a lot. And the path on the right tomorrow, it's been used a lot. The path that you're standing on the now looks like almost brand new. Why is that? Because the ego mind doesn't want you to be in the now. It wants you to be in yesterday or tomorrow. It's all it wants you to be. That's where it exists. That's why those paths are so worn. Now, we do, all of us go into the past yesterday. I mean, we'll reminisce. We have thoughts that come in. You got to be careful with thoughts that come in because they're not usually your thoughts. But you have nostalgia, memories, and it could be something that triggers it, like a song or a drive or doing nothing, just sitting. And you reminisce, go through it. It was a wonderful time. I really had a good time then. I wouldn't mind doing that again. This time wasn't so great. I tried this approach. It didn't work. Next time I'll try a different approach, see if that works. And so we'll go into the room, the great hall. All of us have a great hall. And we open the door, turn on the lights, and immediately, when you walk into a room, it's not like you're consciously aware of it, but when you walk in a room, you quickly, blink of the eye, you glance at the ceiling and the walls. And in the great hall, you walk into the great hall, and you can't see ceilings or walls because it's so vast. But nonetheless, you know where to go. You go to different shelves, drawers, and you pick up some movies and some books and pictures. And then you go and you sit in an easy chair, and you see this screen that's just floating in thin air. And you watch some of the movies, you read some of the books, and you look at some of the pictures. And you have a good time. But when you're done, you don't stay there long. You put everything back in their proper place. You turn the light off, shut the door, move forward in life. And on occasion, you revisit. Some of us, however, unconsciously, they will stay there so long that they end up taking that past, bringing it into a future that doesn't exist, creating that future from that past, and reliving that past in that future. That's why a lot of people will say no matter what we do, we always end up here. Now, we all go into the future. Why do we go to tomorrow, the future, right? Because we want to know things. We're in a hurry. Ego mind keeps pushing us, poking us, pushing and poking and pushing and poking and prodding us. You got to know this stuff. You got to find this out. You got to hurry it up. You got to have it now, Everything will just go to hell in a handbasket if you don't get it now. Got to be. See, and when you try to push things and you try to hurry them, the universe will make it difficult to achieve them, to materialize them, to manifest them, to move energy into form, create it into reality, and experience it. But we still do. We go in the future. We want to know when, like, someone will say, when are they going to have enough money to enjoy their lives? When are they going to be well enough to enjoy their lives? When are they going to be able to meet their lifelong romantic partner? When are they going to have a bigger house? When are they going to have a nicer vehicle? All of these. When. Now, there's a lot of external authority out there, right? All external authority is that you look for someone else other than yourself to determine your direction or path. That's it. And, you got tarot card readers, you get card readers of all kinds of cards. You've got tea leaf readers. You've got palm readers. You've got pendulum readers. You've got astrology, psychics, clairvoyance, all kinds. And so you go and you ask, I would like to know this, this, and this. And so they use their tools, and then they come up with a response to you. This is what I see for you happening in the next, week, month, 3 months, days, whatever. And so, and then people will listen to that, but there's different responses to it. Some people will look at it and say, great, that's wonderful, right? And let it go. Other people will fixate on it. I mean, they'll just fixate. They'll go to the calendar, they'll mark the day that they've been told, the time. They'll keep track of it, count the days. They'll start forming attachments to the outcome, right, of it, and what they expect, expectations, and how it's going to affect things. So they're doing all this. Who do you think manifests it? The one that said, great, that sounds phenomenal, left it alone. That's the one who will manifest it. You send it out to the universe, and that's it. Now, see, when you're sending things out to the universe and you know about it, you're asking for something, you got to be in real detail. You got to really be careful on how you describe what it is you want. You got to be very detailed. One thing at a time. See, because if you aren't, what you get is not what you thought. Because it wasn't complete. You could say by describing a person, I would like this, this, and this, but you forgot to tell the universe, I would prefer a slender, slim person in good shape. And you end up meeting a person that has all of those and but weighs 400 pounds. Okay. It's real finite. So when you decide to take the center path, the now, all that vanishes. It all vanishes. Moment to moment. Breath to breath. That's the gateway and the door to the God that you are in that body. Now, we have parts of ourselves, the gods that we are, that are stone cold asleep. We have parts of ourselves that are awake. This is kind of like the yin and the yang of the collective consciousness. So it's kind of like You deeply love the parts of yourself, that the gods that you are, that are asleep, and you deeply love the parts of yourself that are awake. Now we, the gods that we are part of everything. But we have been habitualized in our little cocoons, our little shells, to be in that comfort zone, right? But when you look at all of the archangels, cherubim, seraphim, archetypes, the ascended masters, Kuan Yin, Maitreya, Buddha, Lakshmi, Ganesh, Gaia, Saint Germain, Christ, Amoria, Mandachia, Pel, Thoth, Yah, Yeshua. You look at all the inhabitants of inner earth, hollow earth, Agartha, beneath earth. You look at all the off-worlders, galactic, celestials, Pleiadians, Sirians, Arcturians, Andromedans, felines, Zeta Reticuli, Anunnaki, Nords, Greys, Draco Reptilian, Golden Pyramid, Avian. You look at all of our loved ones who have ascended out of their bodies in this lifetime and all lifetimes that we've inhabited. All the light energy on this planet. Fairies, sprites, elves, dwarves, gnomes, trees, trolls, elementals, earth, air, water, fire, ether, wood, mermaid, dolphin, whale, Pegasus, unicorn. All of this, each of us, the gods we are in this body, are part of them, the gods in those bodies, in those physical forms. Everything is one. And I'm not talking about the physical form, okay? I'm talking about the God within the physical form. We enter these forms temporarily, whether it be 1,000, whether it be 50 years, 10 years, a month, or thousands of years, but we don't stay in them forever. We leave. We go and we inhabit other physical forms and experience those physical forms. We're pure energy, and we change forms. We enter different forms to experience. It's just like, it's difficult for someone to understand that they're Buddha, Maitreya, Lao Tzu. I mean, there's so many. And so, they were special. They were ascended, and that's not, people say that's not them, but it is. What you view with those eyes and with that body, what you view, because we only see 1% of what is, but what you do view is you, the God that you are. It's a very much different perspective. So when you have so many people in these ruts, these comfort zones, it's really difficult for them to branch out, to go outside that. Because for them, it's comfortable. Have you ever been in a situation where you didn't want to do it, you didn't want to do something, right? And you belabored it in your mind and you thought about it. And you say, I don't know why I said I was going to do that. You ever done that? Where you say, okay, yeah, I'll do it. Oh, yeah, okay, I'll meet with you, blah, blah, blah. And as it closer it gets along to the time of, stepping into that, you say, I wish I hadn't have committed to do that. I don't care to do it. But you do it. And you have just a phenomenal time. Absolutely wonderful time. And then you say, and then the person will say, are you glad you did this? And you say, absolutely. But in the beginning, and you belabored it, and worried, and stressed, and feared about it, and you say, well, there's no way out, so I'm going to do it. And you had a great time. It basically teaches you what? Step out of that comfort zone. Move forward. Don't become stagnant. And the God within you sometimes lets you know. Go for it. Take the risk. Take the chance. Go for it. Do it. You may not be here tomorrow. What are you going to do then? You won't have that body to enjoy or this life. You know, it's interesting because how many people on this planet spend their whole lives hoarding wealth? They hoard it and they collect it. And one day, they leave the body. And where does all that wealth go? Who knows? That's a kind of a rut, too. So we're all of us together. So we look at this planet and we say, that's enough. Enough's enough. You know, and this is us. This is the collective consciousness. You, me, every single one of us, the gods in these bodies. And we look at the planet and we look at everything as we view it. We don't judge it. We just say, that's enough. This won't, we will not allow this to take place anymore. It's that simple. Through the heart mind. So what do? We begin to create avenues to eliminate all the lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies on this planet. We take energy, we move it into form, and then we bring it into reality and experience it. We are all supreme reality, the gods that we are. And, you know, the numbers, we're in the Google plexus. You're talking, since we're part of everything, every one of us. You know, Googleplex will fill this universe with not even 1 square inch of sacred space to spare. We're talking trillions of Googleplexes through trillions of universes. The liberation of this planet will affect every other planet in existence and beyond consciousness. So we're in full compassion. Non-judgment, non-negativity, non-ego, stillness of mind, gentleness, kindness, generosity, and humbleness, bliss, joy, peace, tranquility, benevolence, prosperity, abundance. We're all one. Literally, we're all one. We're all God, and we're all love. And our God force, love, light, energy, isn't all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever. Continues to grow, intensify, and expand. We immediately, the gods that we are in these bodies, form this massive white fire circle of light around the equator of this planet Earth, Gaia, Arya, and this now. This emanates from the gods that we are. The pure, deep, eternal love, pure consciousness. And it floods, saturates, and permeates this planet as soon as it's formed. Now it's so bright that you could take 1 trillion suns, literally, putting them all together, and they would pale in comparison to this light. It is so bright it grays out the darkness of sacred space. And this is pure, deep, the highest of the highest high vibrational frequencies. It's like a waterfall saturating, permeating, and flooding this planet everywhere. There's no escape. There's no hiding. So we begin to ascend above the planet. We come into full contact with this massive ocean of glitter. Now, if we describe it, we take things that we're familiar with on this planet to see how we can come near to describing it. So we take a grand finale fireworks display and a grand finale laser light show and a ballroom globe. You shine light on it, it floods the room with light, and you have these little faceted mirrors. And we intensify all 3 of them by 1 trillion times, and we combine them into one massive crescendo. And in one burst of multicolored, spectacular, bright light, that comes real near to describing the ocean of glitter. So we look at the reflective points in the ocean of glitter. They're everywhere. And we notice these little tiny microscopic, perfectly etched mirrors. we entered them and we discovered that all of us as one are learning from each other, teaching each other, infinity and beyond. Now, it all depends on where we're distracted and how much of a rut we're in, and that we're still living this material physical world, and we believe that everything is out there and nothing is in here. Yet, when you start to realize that the journey is within, and you take it upon your own volition to go within and stay within, to seek the God that you are within the body, then you'll notice things. You look at a tree. God enters a tree to experience the physical form of the tree, the life of that tree, right? And in a way, the God is the life to that tree. It's no different than a dog, a cat, a cow, a moose, a horse, a bug in the rug, a bird, a bush, a blade of grass, a leaf, a cloud in the sky, rainbow. It's because we experience the gods that we are. And not just human, not just humanoid bodies, but all kinds of forms. Doesn't that make sense? We all do it. We've been doing it forever. You know, it's like when you were a kid. Didn't you ever find yourself saying, I wonder what it would be like to be that? Or you say, I want to be a horse. And, of course, your parents will say, oh, that's silly. You're not a horse. You're Jimmy. Yeah, but I bet you it'd be fun to be that horse. And this is, in reality, this is what we do. How else do we learn about physical form? Unless we go into it, we experience it. You can, too, even today in the now, you can be in meditation, focused on your breath in the now. You look at something and say, I wonder what it's like to be that. And in a brief moment, you will know what it's like to be that. This is an ego mind. This is heart mind. We're immediately met with, we create columns of light, the gods that we are. Remind us about things, okay? So since we do have some amnesia, so we have Archangel Raphael, who's carrying a brilliant emerald green flaming healing light, right? And this is to remind us, the gods that we are in these bodies, that we are the power of healing these bodies. And we have Archangel Michael with the violet, blue, purple, flaming light. Now, we created this light to remind us, the gods that we are in these bodies, of our omnipotent power, strength, and resolve. Then we have the white fire. This is a column of light that we created to remind us all that from head to toe, inside and out, we are protected with a white fire armor. Nothing like the armor on this planet, way beyond that. And this white fire armor comes from the gods that we are within these bodies. Pure, deep, eternal love. It's the highest of the highest high frequencies. So, you know, demon possession, attachments, anything from lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies, they can't hold their form around such a high frequency. So they'll vanish, so they have to stay away. So we're protected 24/7, infinity and beyond. But only you have the power. If you decide to lower your vibrational frequency low enough, whether consciously or unconsciously, through hatred, anger, fear, greed, revenge, hurriedness, impatience, worry, stress, fear, anxiety, you will create a breach in your white fire armor, lowering your frequency low enough so that all these lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies come flooding in. Now, we have backup plans, say. So we create these columns of light. And we create this double column of light. And the first part of this column of light is the purple transmuting flame. We created this to remind us that we can bring in the purple transmuting flame. We can literally transmute all these lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies into neutral light substance, sending them to pure consciousness, where they are no more. The second part of this column of light that we created is the violet ray. This reminds us that we can bring in the violet ray right behind the purple transmuting flame. And we can cleanse and purify the area where these lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies were. Sealing the breach in our white fire armor and restoring our vibrational harmony to the highest high, deepest of the deepest, deepest, and purest of the purest, purest, eternal love, gratitude, and peace. Then we come to the golden white pink light. This is a column of light that we, the gods in these bodies, have created to remind us all that we are the sun, the sunlight, the rain, the rainbows. We are the sunsets and the sunrises. We are the oceans, the rivers, the lakes, the streams, the trees, the forests, the soils, the clouds in the sky. Everything. Everything is us and we're everything. There's no separation. And now normally, what have we been trained to do? Because we've been trained in the illusion of separation. So we look at a sunset and say, that's really beautiful. And it is, because it's you, the God in that body. And this is all heart-minded. This is not ego-minded. So when you do see those vistas and the beautiful rainbow, whatever, that's the God that I am. It's like a child. You could be sitting watching a sunset, and you could say, do you know that you have a God within you? That's who you really are. You also know that that sunset is part of that God within you. That's the real truth. Now, we continue to ascend above the planet. Some of us who are carrying physical form decide to step out of that physical form, hover effortlessly above it. And the reason we do that is, number one, we can, and it's a lot of fun. We come into contact with this massive crystal light tower. We, the gods in these bodies, created that tower, larger than the solar system and beyond. In the center of the column, we see this massive oblong sphere. And in the center of the sphere, we see this golden white ball of light. It, in turn, is surrounded by multicolored rings of light that seem to go to infinity and beyond. This, in turn, creates a massive, super bright, white, misty, sparkling, flashing cloud that's absorbed within our heart minds, and it's like a warm embrace that never ends. We discover that the golden white ball of light is the highest of the highest high, the deepest of the deepest, deepest, and the purest of the purest, purest, eternal love. Then comes gratitude, well-being, gentleness, kindness, generosity, humbleness, bliss, joy, peace, massive prosperity, and massive abundance. And all this, we discover, is a reflection of the gods that we are within these bodies. Now, at the top of this column, we designed it so the golden ocean can come cascading down 360 degrees, infinity and beyond, saturating, flooding, and permeating this planet and whole life, the highest supreme value in the universes. What is the golden ocean? It's pure, deep, eternal love. And we're all drops of this golden ocean. And we hold the essence of this golden ocean. Drops of the golden ocean of the drops. The only illusion is separation. We see our meditative sphere. It's that center circle. All of us, the gods that we are, created this sphere over 4 years ago. It holds almost 1,900 of our meditations in perpetual motion. And they keep growing and expanding. and intensifying. All this intent, limitless numbers, hundreds of millions, on and off world, focused on liberation of this planet, from the planet of 3D goop to the planet of paradise, a God planet paradise. There's no room for the lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies to exist. You can plug into this, you can see that's why the sphere can be seen, heard, and felt, and all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever. This is why it continues to intensify, strengthen, and expand. Now you can float and watch the planet in the process. It's taking place right now. You stay in meditation and you see. We create, the gods that we are in these bodies, collective consciousness, created this field in the atmosphere. It's a golden white pink field shimmering. And this is the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, purest of the purest purest, eternal love. The highest vibrational frequency that there is, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever. And we see this goop. It's like the blackest of the blackest black that you've ever seen. And it's the old rogue AI goop. It is all of the twisted, corrupted, pure evil goop. And it's leaving the planet. It looks like it's being vaporized and vacuumed. And as it goes through this golden white pink light atmosphere, it's like little flashes. It's disintegrating. You can watch it disintegrate. And if it does make it to the sky, which we created this golden white pink sky, kind of like a containment, if they do get that far, then it's one big flash and they're gone. This is what's happening on this planet, everywhere. There's no escape. Really, no escape. There's no hiding. And these lower dark matter, this goop, can't survive. Can't hold its form. So it's vaporized. Permanently. Understand, it's always about our frequencies. We lower our frequencies, we affect everything. We lower them for hatred, anger, greed, revenge, envy. We lower our frequencies, it affects everything. And the worst thing that it affects is you. You. It has a boomerang effect. And it is a fact that's been proven throughout science, chemistry, for thousands of years. It will come back to you tenfold. Because you are putting that energy out. The rest of the collective consciousness and higher vibrational frequency isn't. You are. No matter how much your ego mind wants to rationalize and say, oh, no, that's not true. Oh, no, that doesn't happen. It's a guarantee. Always has been, always will be, ever beyond and forever. So that's why this deep eternal love is eradicating all of that from this planet. You are always having an experience. Each of us are. We're never not. Just be present to the one that's happening now. If you're demanding to have an experience, you're squeezing out this one, and this now, and actually missing it. The moment you stop trying to make something big happen, right? It happens for you. I'll join you in the meditation. I'll return to close us out. Take an easy, slow breath in through the nose. And an easy, slow breath out the mouth. Be still. Stay present to consciousness. Thinking all the time is not being conscious if you can fathom that. Just take time to just be present to your body, to your breath, to your life. Your body is your home, not your head. So keep dropping down out of your head and into your heart. Do not participate in the drama of the mind. Take this with you for the rest of the day, into the evening and night and the following morning. And we'll return here Tuesday, June 14, 2022, 3 p.m. Eastern, to continue our global guided meditation